Hi Aries, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for May 5th to the 22nd. And let's get right into things. So we have the 7th house, we have Sagittarius, and we have Venus. Now speaking of Venus, Venus is going to be conjunct the North Node in Gemini in your 3rd house cell, but the Sun's going to be going in there as well on the 20th. Sun's going to be in Gemini on the 20th. In your 3rd house of communication, short distance travel, siblings, learning. For some of you, it's even teaching. All modes of communication, though. Some of you, it's even signing contracts, signing paperwork. So let's see what we have. We're going to pull a general message first. Then we'll go into relationship, and then we'll go into career/money. I'll timestamp for the relationship and the money and career section in the description box below, where you'll also find that 15% off coupon code for my Synastry reads for the month of May. So first up, we have the 9th house. So the 9th house has to do with belief systems. Okay, it has to do with your higher mindedness, your personal philosophy. It has to do with travel, foreign lands, foreign cultures, higher education, your religion, your belief system. It also has to do with marketing and advertising. So just for those of you involved in that, we have the Jupiter return. Is all about benefits, right? And Jupiter is going to be in the 12th house for you. Still in that 12th house, lots of thinking about lots of subconscious expansion going on about what it is that you want for yourself, where you've been. You want to make sure that you stay very balanced in that energy, Aries, as I mentioned last time, because Jupiter and Pisces, you expanding that in the house of Pisces, because the 12th house is the house of Pisces, there can be a very high possibility of, self-sabotaging behavior, any sort of addictions. But if you're not, predisposed to that, because I don't know you, I don't know your chart, all of these are just general energies for the archetypes. Doesn't go, your personal chart is really very unique to you and how you experience your signs, but that's what the 12th house could mean. So you have it in Pisces, and then it's in the 12th house, so it's almost like that double energy. So you're really thinking about, you want to make sure that you're not ending up like the victim in a particular situation, that you're martyring yourself for a particular situation. Because some of you may feel like that, where you might feel that you're being pushed to sell yourself out, having to do with something. Sagittarius, this is the 9th house energy. So very interesting. We have 2 9th house energies. We have 3 9th house energies actually, because we have Sagittarius here. So again, this idea of your belief system, your moral code, your moral compass, and the fact that that's the 9th house energy, right? So the 9th house works opposite the 3rd house energy, which is where you have Gemini right now. So you're going to have a lot of very busy communication. Your energies are almost going to feel scattered, right? You're going to feel scattered and curious, right? Because you're likely going to be dealing with several things all at once regarding all modes of communication. For a lot of you, business. For a lot of you, the idea of learning something new, so this could be a very busy energy for you. Also, you still have Uranus in your 2nd house. So that 2nd house has to do with money and finances. So there could be surprises there. Uranus is always about shaking things up and bringing in some sort of surprise, right? Now, because we have Pluto, which is all about change, in your 10th house, only you're going to know, right? We have the 10th house is Pluto, and then we have Mars in Cancer in your 4th house. So it's like Mars and Pluto are looking at each other across your birth chart, and it's almost like you first kind of thing, right? Because they're partners. So the 10th house has to do with career, public reputation, your standing in the world, and the 4th house has to do with that idea of home and your roots of being and your inner base of operation. So for some of you, you may be in the space of figuring out how you can work better at home if you are working at home already, or you want to start working at home, or anything like that. So all of this could be popping. Now, the fact that you have Gemini, the sun in Gemini, wherever the sun is, there's always going to be focus, and you have it on your 3rd house, which is all about communication. So it even has to do with that communication, has to do with also online. It's not only in person, it's also online communication. So a lot of you may be in the space where you're doing some sort of work online and you're trying to get your work out there. that way. Lots of behind the scenes work with that Jupiter and Pisces energy. So you might be doing a lot of planning. Some of you may be in a very creative space right now where you're doing a lot of planning. Maybe you're doing a lot of writing. Maybe you're writing a screenplay, a book, something really creative that you are thinking about how you're going to actually launch and get out there. There's different ways that could come up. So let's just pull a couple of energies here. So being very protective of yourself. Some of you may just be very protective of yourself or protective of your resources, right? Because this is an energy of security and self-protection and watching your resources to make sure that you have enough, right? For others of you, this can indicate attaining a more secure position, especially if you've been working part-time at something. You may be getting a full-time position or additional work, additional gigs in whatever area you're in. But it's about you being very focused on this idea of protection. You might be in a relationship or a situation where you're feeling like it's very necessary for you to protect yourself. The Eight of Cups as a center energy is this idea that you're leaving something, there's change. This is having the emotional intelligence to understand that something doesn't feel right and it's time to move on. And, you know, when I say that, I'm not saying that lightly, because you feel sad about something but not regretful. Right? You might have even left a situation already emotionally, you know what I mean, before you actually did. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles as this final outcome energy, which is very auspicious for your life. It really is. This is about happiness and contentment, getting what you want. And it coming to you pretty quickly, or at least you've shown how to make that happen for you to have that foundation of stability that you're looking for here in this Four of Pentacles, right? So don't doubt your good luck. I mean, this is just like such an energy of like, if you leave a job, you're going to end up getting a better one. If you're in a very dysfunctional relationship where you feel like the life is being drained out of you, this does look like, you know, better days ahead. But you have to have faith and you have to be able to see what is really going on really in reality, right? And then the Jupiter return is all about short-term benefits. I say short-term because Saturn brings the long-term benefits, but Jupiter is about, you know, expansion and these things happening for you right now. So things lining up for you, I like it. Jupiter is also about Sagittarius and Jupiter. That ninth house energy is about moving forward with integrity, luck and expansion, expanding yourself beyond where you are right now. So I think that's a really positive energy as long as you stay open to it. All right, so let's get into relationship. Sorry, my sage wants to fall off the table. You like my world light? Isn't that cool? It's one of my Mother's Day gifts from my boys. It's so thoughtful. They got me an Empress mug. Very cute. Okay, let's see what we have going on here. New life. Aries, I don't know what's going on. What's going on, Aries? Higher power. One more. Clean it up. So something's got to be cleaned up. You can't just up and leave something straight away. Something needs addressed, to be addressed. Something needs to be addressed here. Let's see. Let's see. Well, we have high power as a center card. Everything is happening exactly how it's supposed to be happening. And this is the thing. With that third house energy, I just feel like a lot of destiny-driven conversations are going to be going on. I mean, I suppose all conversations are, but I mean really, because the North Node conjunct Venus in your third house, yeah. Maybe a conversation with one of your siblings or extended family members, or some sort of conversation just get you thinking about your relationship, get you thinking about what's been going on. Okay. We have the Eight of Pentacles coming into this space. You're really trying to figure something out. So the Eight of Pentacles is really about, trying to focus on responsibilities in a hard, diligent and hardworking way. Having a diligent and hardworking approach to whatever relationship this is. If this is an intimate relationship, a marriage, a friendship, family situation, whatever it is, you being in this space, you believe, right, in your mind, handling things like, okay, I'm trying to be responsible here. I'm trying to do the right thing to the best of your ability. Now we have Hierophant, which is the marriage card. It's being crossed by the Hermit. So this can indicate a marriage not working out, Aries. I mean, very directly, because the Hierophant being a marriage card, it is about celebrating the sacred in a relationship, but being crossed by the Hermit energy. This is about you needing to step back from a situation for many of you to figure out the cycles and the cyclical nature of things that go on within the relationship, and realize that however the relationship was up to this point, it's not working. It hasn't been working because it hasn't been healthy. For others of you, this is taking a step back to figure out how you can better work on your relationship in order to really kind of save it and make it better. But it is this idea, I get this feeling of effort on your part. There is an energy of effort, I do feel like. The Hierophant is also addressing expectations and the need to conform to certain customs and traditions. So you might be in this space of analyzing this right now. How is that played out in relationship or in relationships in general? If you're single right now, you might be in that space where you're really thinking about these things. How well do you show up, right, when it comes to expectations and sharing and being very sort of, kind of set the seeds for there being a mutually empathetic relationship where there's mutual compromise and all of that. Is that something that you've experienced in your relationship? And if not, how can you possibly address that? So we have the Knight of Cups energy here. So this is a proposal energy. This does tell me you're experiencing a very emotional time right now within an existing relationship. Some of you may be in the space where you're just meeting somebody new, because we did have new life. So you also may be very wrapped up in somebody new, right? It depends on your situation. Now, if you're meeting somebody new, or even if this is somebody you've been with for a while, if you're vibing that something about them is a little too good to be true, according to what they're saying, where they're saying, yeah, I want the same thing as you. Yeah, we're definitely going to work this out. We're going to, depending on what stage you're at, we're going to maybe go to marriage counseling, or some of you, if it's like not so mature, it might be like, yeah, no, we want the same thing in relationship, almost like mirroring you. And you always want to be careful of that, right? Because somebody might be stuck behind this like false persona, not because they're mean or malicious or anything. Maybe they're just very, very, very vulnerable, very insecure, or there could always be this idea of them giving you lip service. So just have your spidey senses turned on, just to be able to be with you, even though they may very well not be what they're presenting themselves to be. So you just want to be careful of that. Because we do have the death and rebirth energy here, right? Scorpio is about endings and beginnings. So this could indicate for a lot of you, there's some sort of, the relationship either ends permanently or at least for now. And sometimes we need to do that. We need to step away from things, to take a breather, to get a different perspective of things. If we're ever going to, get back together later on with healthier legs, right? Because what happens here is something really beautiful doesn't end. We might have thought it was beautiful, but really in actuality, if we're very honest with ourselves, we might have been, dealing with something that's really ultimately not very healthy for us. So there's got to be this sort of rebirth here. Now, we got new life, right? But something's got to be cleaned up. So depending on how you're resonating with this and depending on what else is in your chart, some of you are going to be sort of redefining the nature of your relationship to be even better than before. You're going to know if that's you. Or some of you are just going to allow the ending and allow yourself to meet somebody new. Depends on where you're at right now. And some of you may literally be having a new life in a new home, because the death and rebirth energy can mean that as well. Just adding that in, like your living circumstances might change because you guys realize where you're living no longer meets your overall needs, right? So that this can manifest into moving somewhere that ends up inciting a new beginning for you, and therefore you guys have this new life, and you literally have to clean up where you're living. I mean, if we're going literal here, that is definitely where some sort of offer comes in for a new home. And that might just be like what the doctor ordered, like let's just move and start fresh somewhere. Some of you may be resonating with it like that. So we have you right now. You are the Three of Cups energy. I love this energy because it's an energy of support. It's a celebration, abundance, circle of support. There's a lot of healing here. 3 is also the number of creation. So some of you may be in a space where you are literally thinking about creating something, you know, a life or a new life together, or planning on maybe opening a business together, something like that, right? Make sure that you're not partying too much if you are in that space of partying a lot, because it can mean that as well. And we have the Judgment energy external to you. So this could be somebody who is external to you, or this could just be the general energetic influence surrounding you. So this is a Pluto energy. So what I like about this is, in numerology, this is associated with the High Priestess energy as well as the Justice energy. So the Justice is ruled by Venus. It's about what's fair, what's not, coming up with like a win-win situation. And the High Priestess is associated with the Moon. So you're really listening to your emotions having to do with something here. So this could be, you know, in a very fundamental interpretation, either you, the energy around you is that of letting go of the past. It's saying, you know, I'm not going to hold on to that A, B, and C anymore. Or you might be dealing with somebody else who just comes in and is like, look, Aries, you know, we were in that relationship. We both did the best that we knew how, given the circumstances that we were in. We're in a different space now. Let's just let go of the past. Making the decision to let go of the past in almost like a spiritual awakening kind of way. You know, thereby assessing the love and shifting it into a new phase. So for some of you, there might be a need for reconciliation if you deem it worthwhile. If you don't, keep them in the rearview mirror. If you guys are single, you might revisit that old relationship, see if it's worth it, you know. Some of you might just all of a sudden have old friends reappearing in your life out of nowhere, where it's like, okay, what's going on here? And then we have your challenge, which is your block, 10 of Cups. This is such a beautiful energy, and this is hard for you to feel very content right now, Aries. Now, this could be for several things. I mean, keeping it real. Only because Pluto is staring at Mars right now across the wheel. And Pluto's in the 10th house of career. And Mars is in your 4th house. So there might be some issues surrounding money, surrounding career. Is everybody working? Who's not working? Who's not? You know, there could be this idea of, you know, you feeling or a partner feeling like things are not equitable. And therefore, it's really challenging to feel this sense of contentment, right? Feeling the sense of the benefits of security. You know, feeling like what you've been working hard on will finally come together. And this can be a challenge in the relationship, particularly if it has to do with, like, let's just say, for example, you're really working very hard on some sort of creative project and you're relying on the funds coming in, or there's some sort of financial pressures because of you dedicating a lot of energy to that. I'm just giving this as an example. That's obviously, it's going to end up putting a lot of stress on your home life, right? So it could be anything like that. So we have the Knight of Wands energy in the near future, which is really about just firing up your ambition. Just this, you know, and this is a proposal, right? Influence, you know, sort of proposal influences your ability to move forward. So like events speed up, blocks are lifted, decisions coming in this area that you might have been waiting on. So one way or another, right? But this has to do with creative innovation. You might even be dealing with somebody who, in a relationship who's very inspiring to you. You might be dealing with a partner who's very, very supportive and very inspiring for what it is that you actually want to have, you know, bring to yourself. I'm just looking at this new life, higher power, clean it up. Yeah, it does seem like there's something that you really want to work on. just feel like in relationship with somebody, you feel like you've just been on a very, very different page. Very different page. So we have the Queen of Cups energy here. So the Queen of Cups in astrology is Gemini and Cancer. So this is very intuitive energy for sure. So again, some of you may be dealing with somebody who's super supportive, who's very loving. You know, this energy of emotional honesty. I like it. You know, you're loving and giving right now, right? You're in this space where you're just very ready for that. But in all of that, more important is this conversation having to do with what you need to feel grounded, rooted, safe, and secure. There's a lot of Cancer energy being talked about here. Vulnerabilities, insecurities, and you may be in this space also, Aries, where you're realizing the roots of your being and where you come from and why certain things roll out the way they do in your relationships in life, which is very interesting. I don't know why I'm being called to say that. It's because it's Queen of Cups, it's Gemini, it's Cancer. Cancer is the 4th house. The 4th house is the IC. The IC is your inner world, your personal views, the deepest and darkest, most personal place in your chart. And so you might be really digging in and getting very honest with yourself about why you do what you do, and that may be what it is that needs to be cleaned up. You know, where do you not compromise enough? Where do you compromise too much? And really needing to find an even balance there within relationship. But it looks like you can do it. It looks like the energy is supportive of you doing that. So that's what we have for relationship. Okay. Let's get into career. Career, money, any sort of financial situation, divorce, settlement, buying a home, selling a home, anything with money, your partner's money, anything like that. Take off your mask. Unleash your creativity. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's something going on with that creativity thing that I was just talking about, the creativity sector for you. Selling out. Ooh. Ouch. Yeah. Well, some of you may feel like you need to sell out what you really want to do in order to put like food on the table. You know what I mean? That happens sometimes. It's just the way life is sometimes. But take off your mask. It's like, what are you acting in? What are you saying that you can do or handle? Because when we have take off your mask, unleash your creativity, and selling out, it's almost like, I can't do this anymore. I have to be more creative. I have to not act like this situation isn't bothering me. I have to go after what it is that I want, especially you guys are in Aries energy. Again, just because of how this Pluto and Mars energies are looking at each other. Very interesting. Some of you just really want your partner's approval or support, rather, not approval, but support. And maybe you've been getting it up to this point, but maybe they're tired of it, or maybe it's got nothing to do with that. But I was just kind of getting that energy for some of you in the relationship read. We have the Empress, so the idea of mother. Empress is the mother of the tarot. We have Judgment. Two of Cups. The recent past. Okay, so again, this could have to do with any sort of situation. This could, again, being a legal separation. You may be very focused on, you don't want to sell yourself out, by having somebody try to manipulate you. You may feel like you need to come up with a very creative way of communicating what it is that you want to communicate regarding some sort of financial situation. We have the Two of Cups coming into this. So if this has to do with a business agreement, this is a really good conversation that's very mutually supportive, where you guys understand each other. This is a positive proposal energy. So this could quite literally be, do you want this job? You want to go into business together? Let's open this business together. Or at least having a meeting of the minds with somebody, having a particular conversation surrounding work and or money go really well. Or some sort of offer coming in. Now we have the Empress energy here, which is the situation right now. So the Empress is the mother of the tarot. So some of you may be quite literally focused on whatever you're doing. You want to do it for your children, for your family. Some of you may be, dealing with a wife kind of thing, saying, come on, you have to do something for the family more, or something like that. Or maybe there's conversation about you having a child, or you just had a child. And so this idea of money is very much on the forefront of your mind. For a lot of you. For others of you, you might be in the space where you want to open up your own business, you want to do your own thing, you really want to get out there and grow yourself. Maybe even a little bit of both. But what is crossing you here is the Judgment energy, right? But so what does that mean if this is crossing the Empress? This tells me that you, right now, you may not be getting the feedback that you really want, right? You might not be getting the acknowledgement for your talents, for your success, whatever it is. You may be somebody, you're waiting for somebody to come in and finance something that you really want to put out there, but you're having a hard time. This can also indicate that you might feel very stuck in the past, or refuse to learn the lessons that are there for you to learn regarding this opportunity or this situation, right? So you might find yourself in old patterns, but you're not ready to break free from them just yet. So a delay could be indicated here, or you could feel trapped and unstable and not stable, and I can't even speak, in whatever you're in right now, where you're unable to progress forward without really understanding why. You just can't figure out why do I feel like these roadblocks are up. So the best thing to do here is just to accept the past, right? Accept your actions. Whatever's happened has happened, right? Have compassion for the person that you were in whatever situation you were in. Know that you don't have to live with the results of those choices in the past. You don't have to live with them in the future. You can decide to be free from a situation, right? And then that's where the Empress energy is really going to be able to come into the forefront. We have the Page of Wands as the crowning. So I like this energy because this is really good news coming in about a project that requires some sort of negotiations. This could be a very busy time for you. This can indicate a new offer coming in. It might not be as fabulous as you want. It might not be as fabulous as you would expect, but in theory, it will still appeal to you. And I always say with this energy, make sure you read the fine print first before signing or agreeing to anything, because we're going into Mercury retrograde. We're in the pre-shadow now, so just be careful. And we have the Five of Swords. So you might be dealing with a difficult energy having to do with some sort of work or financial situation. Because the Five of Swords really is, it's another person having issues, right? Where there's a clash of desire and reality, and that creates a lot of tension and this ongoing conflict. You're not going to be able to win this, though. So you're better off just walking away, dealing with your anger and disappointment, because you can't mitigate somebody else's stuff. It really is the energy if you can't fix the unfixable. So something is going on here. You know, a lot of times you see this energy come out with some sort of lawsuit, some sort of legal separation, right? Where an offer is made, but not everybody's happy about it. It's that kind of thing, and it could just be kind of uncomfortable, and I'm just using that as an example, some sort of situation. Now we have the Hermit energy as you right now. So when it comes to money and career, this does indicate success in a position through which you can make more money, but you have to first step back and analyze what's not working, because you might feel like it's time to try a different approach or a different path. You might even meet a mentor at this time right now. And the fact that this is just you in your position, this is really a need to really rethink things. you might be really happy in a position, but the schedule maybe is not working out with your life, or you're just not making the money that you need, or you're just not happy anymore, right? Because you're so badly, I feel like, wanting to do something else. It does seem like. We have the energy external to you that's influencing you, which is the Two of Coins. That makes sense. I mean, this is a very, could be a confusing energy, right? Because this is about negotiation, right? And needing to make a decision regarding more than one choice or more than one path. So you have to figure out, what do you feel a sense of lack in, or somebody needs to be figuring this out, because this could be the general energetic influence surrounding you, or this could be the energy of somebody that you're dealing with, right? So you might be in this space where you're waiting for somebody to either maybe, pick you for something, but it could also just be you just generally sort of in this space of figuring out what the best strategy is for you to move forward. Should I do path A or path B? Where am I going to get the most acknowledgement for either my talents, gifts, and abilities, or what I'm offering, or what's going to bring me the most money, kind of thing, or the most satisfaction? Now we have the Two of Wands in the challenge. So the Two of Wands, and when we're talking about this as a challenge, this could indicate plans falling apart, you're not thinking big enough, maybe you had an idea in your mind about how things were going to be moving forward, right? And you had this idea in your head that there were going to be a lot more opportunities than maybe there are in reality, and you might be feeling kind of stuck in that way, and that could be disappointing. So we have the Justice energy in the near future. So Justice has to do with, it's a Venus energy, right? Justice is Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus. So 7th house has to do with contracts. So this could either be, because there's a Chariot energy here, which is all about moving away from toxicity. For some of you, there's going to be the finalization of a divorce situation. There's going to be the finalization of some sort of contractual agreement that you're getting into that's going to be pulling you away from something that was ultimately not working for you. All right, this is about, the Chariot energy is about moving away from something that's negative to something that's positive. We have to clarify. Hold on a second. The Wheel. So the Justice energy really is about a win-win situation, and it's about balancing the scale. So a lot of times it has to do with the lower courts. So obviously that would have to do with like a divorce settlement, or like some sort of like insurance payout, anything like that. Anything like that is indicated here. We have the Chariot energy that, again, there's this element of movement, quick changes. This is progress in a business situation, pushing you forward or bringing something to fruition. Whatever it is, it's going to be good for you ultimately. So this is like settling a divorce thing. This is signing a contract that brings you in a much better direction. This is doing something like that. But the thing is here, because we have the Seven of Swords energy, please be careful of what it is that you're signing, because you may be dealing with somebody who's not very honest, who's kind of immoral, who oversteps boundaries, who's just very focused on themselves. Like, you're in this space, the Wheel, and the Wheel is Jupiter energy, so you're all about this turning point. You're in this space, right? Good news is coming in, really good, but please, please, please make sure that you prioritize what's being asked of you and your eyes are wide open. This is still a minor arcana. Just understand that what's being presented to you, please make sure you read the fine print. Make sure you read the fine print. And if something smells funny, if something doesn't seem right, especially because we're in the pre-shadow of Mercury going retrograde, revisit it. Don't sign it. Just don't sign it. Have the conversation with them, please, especially because you have all of this third house energy. The third house is where we sign contracts. So you have that Sun in Gemini, you have the Venus conjunct the North Node in Gemini. There are very destiny-driven, serendipitous things happening for you. Just make sure you read the fine print. I mean, I like this, but I would be remiss if I didn't bring that up. 10 of Coins, beautiful. This is awesome. Beautiful. I mean, this is you creating a situation where you're going to have money for your family, right? Because this has to do with family, this has to do with maturity, having money to push a project that you're looking to get out there, have money to purchase a home. Some of you might even be purchasing a new home with the help of some family members, because this can indicate like property and legacy. Some of you, inheritance. You might be dealing with inheritance, either you or a partner, anything like that. And then there's this idea of sharing. This idea of sharing. Okay, so that is what we have for you for this particular week. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.